Hello, good morning. It's me, Annalisa, with my spiritual friend. This looks really dirty. Hold on. Fine. My shirt won't stretch like it normally does. This is my eyeballs. Hold on. I hope you're well. I hope you had a good weekend. And if you celebrated Valentine's Day, I hope you had a good Valentine's Day. I thought I'd be in the spirit. Just realized I have no earrings on. And as my grandmother would say, I'm naked. My grandmother used to always say she would never go out without eyelashes or earrings. And she always put on fake eyelashes because she was a redhead. So she always had whatever. Anyway, who's here? Say hello. I had a client on Friday night and we got into a whole discussion. So my reading style is sort of changing, I've noticed, over the last few clients that I've read for. And a lot of that comes along with my own growth and development. Hi, Cindy. How are you? Catherine, I don't remember your screen name, but I have your payment. So hi, Nicola. I'm pretty good. So I was just saying that my style of reading is sort of changing a bit. And I've noticed that, I'll just put you on the list until I get it. I'm just putting you as CB. That's okay. I've noticed that, as I grow and change and learn new things, the way that I give my readings is different. It's not bad. It's just my tagline for my business has always been empowering your journey. And so as I told these recent clients, I was like, if I didn't do this, I feel like I would be doing you a giant disservice. And hi, Catherine. And so kind of what happened was, people come in and ask me when are things going to happen, or how is this going to happen? And one person was wanting to join an organization, like a sort of like a fraternal organization. And this is something they've been wanting to do for a long time. And she's seen herself butting up against, issues. And then there was something that came up with her about work. And so we started discussing about how we see ourselves show up in relationship and how we believe other people perceive us. So sort of along the lines of manifestation. And I'm doing this because I truly believe our beliefs create our reality. And I'm happy to read the energy about where it's going. But I also think it's incredibly limited for me to just say, this is where I see it going. And then if it's not the direction you want, where does that leave you if I don't at least help you figure out how to shift that into something that you do want? So readings are sort of automatically turning into me doing the psychic and energetic readings, really, and then helping you with manifesting along the way. I guess if you don't like that and you just want me to tell you stuff, I might not be the best reader for you. I'm happy to just tell you stuff and not talk to you about manifesting, but I think you're shortchanging yourself. Cindy, I got your payment. I've already put you on there, but so one thing that came up was where we talk about because I really like manifestation, I really like intuition, and I really like the self-concept stuff. And sometimes when you're in the world of manifestation, that group of people tends to be like, screw psychics, you don't need that, you don't need any of that. But I sort of look at it this way. Your manifestation is how you express information out into the universe, the world, whatever you want to, the ethers, whatever you want to call it. Intuition is how you receive information back. And your self-concept work is how healthy your communication is. And so You don't have to do any self-concept work to manifest or to have intuition. But the healthier self-concept is, the better that communication gets, the clearer that communication gets, and work versus like, if it's whether it's expressive or receptive. So they all go together. I think that's why I like it. Hi, McKeekan, how are you? So that's that. So my style of doing private readings is slightly changing, and probably here too. I'll talk a lot more about manifestation, but I'm going to tell you a really fun one I did this week. My daughter said, because I said I'm always manifesting, like I'm always consciously manifesting. I'm always thinking about how can I do it better? How can I get what I want? And not in a like selfish way or whatever, but like, why continue butting your head up against the wall when you can just create more calm? Yeah. Oh, you're more calm. Excellent. So my thoughts like were this week, I decided I've been doing this technique it's basically like the whisper technique, only it's not the creepy, like where I'm like, some people make the whisper technique very weird. I think it's just telepathy. It's just talking to who you want. And this woman does a thing where, her name's Jennifer. She does a thing where she's like, look at a picture of the person. I'm very good at visualization in my mind's eye, so I don't always do that. But so I visualized my one daughter on Wednesday morning. And I said to her, you're going to do your homework, your math. I was very specific. I said, you're going to do your math homework. You're going to get it done easily, and you're not going to lose focus. Like it's going to be very easy for you to focus and get it done. She has ADHD. So that gives you a background. And then I said, and you love cleaning your room. Your room is so clean, and you enjoy when it is clean. It makes you really happy. So Wednesday she came home, the girls came home from school. I took my youngest one to go to vision therapy. And on the way out the door, I said to this particular one, I said, just do your homework. That's all I said. So I get home and I was like, did you get your homework done? She's like, yeah, I got it done. It was really easy. I was like, okay, great. And then she kind of disappeared off into her room, and she came out and she's like, I'm cleaning my room. And I was like, oh yeah? And I was doing something at the table, and I was like, okay. And then she said, she's like grabbing a garbage bag. She's like, and I've got momentum, so I want to like keep doing, I don't want to stop. I was like, that sounds great. You just go keep doing that. And she had asked me to help her with like getting her clothes organized or whatever, but I was like, no problem. But literally did not say a word to her about cleaning her room, only in my thoughts. In the morning where I sat kind of quiet. I did some stuff with some other people too. I believe that you can consciously create your reality. And again, I would be remiss to say that I have this tagline, empowering your journey, and I'm not sharing how to do that along the way. And I'm just like leaving you. It's like going to the doctor and getting a diagnosis and like not knowing how to treat it. That's stupid. So, okay. I don't know. That's just what I want to share with you. Also, I don't know. Who wants to go? I don't know your screen name. I don't know if you want me to say it out loud. HH is your initials. So if you want to let me know. Oh, that was you, Heidi. Okay, you're good with that. Okay. Okay. Sorry. I just always like to, some people have different screen names and they like to be private. They're worried about, which rightfully so. Catherine, if you want to post your questions too. What do you mean your grandma did something similar when she was pregnant with you? What did she do? So if you want to join my community, by the way, I'm adding into it a WhatsApp group just so it's easier to communicate back and forth with everybody. And it's a little more kind of what more people normally do. So you'll get the community on the Stan Store, but then really most of the communication is going to happen in the WhatsApp group. She told you how she wanted you to be. Oh, interesting. And all the great things she wanted me to do. I love that. So this woman was like talking about, and I thought this was interesting. I was like, oh yeah, that's true. Like, I'm going to get back up a little bit. My client on Friday was like, did you always know I'm open, I'm getting a divorce? And she's like, did you always know? And I said, I've known for a while, just because of what I do I know things that are coming in my life, that kind of stuff. There are things that I'm very well aware of that are coming in my life. And it's sort of a matter of just like waiting for everything to fall together for it to happen. It's like, I know that intuitively I'll move in the positions for those things to come. And I knew for a long time, but here's the thing, like, just because you know something doesn't mean that you don't still fight for stuff, right? So like, I tried for a really long time, but when you go against this like path that, and I believe there are things that we choose, that we like, experiences we choose to have, to learn from in this lifetime. I don't think that we totally, I mean, it's our free will before we incarnate to choose these things. But once we get here, we have to learn, we have to experience certain events. And when you can stretch that out in some cases, but they'll be inevitable no matter what. And when you go against them, and it becomes a feeling where your soul just feels not right. And so like there was and this is like, again, a safe example to give, because I don't want to talk about my marriage, but like I was dating a guy once, and loosely, we were not serious by any means. But like the first time I hugged him, I heard like, this isn't going to happen. Like from one of my guys, very loud. Like he just wasn't a match for me, and that was fine. So I stuck it out for a while, and he's like, why? And I was like, and I told the guy the story, and he's like, well, why would you stick it out? I was like, I guess I'm kind of stubborn. I want to try and make things work. But like, sometimes some things aren't meant, like the working is the ending, right? That like the lessons that you learn from that is the ending. The gifts that you get from that experience is, and then there's the ending, and that's like what it's supposed to happen. So just remember that as you're going through things. I even think about that with like all the Epstein files coming out, and Hollywood is deeply, deeply entrenched in it. And I think about this women's circle that I went to out in California. I mean, I joined it online, and then I went out to do like an in-person thing out in California. And this woman was interesting. I felt a lot of insecurity in the whole group, and it affects me, I think, very differently, because I pick up so much on like clairsentient and everything else. But this woman had said, like, we were in Malibu, and we're on the beach, and I found a little place like right near there. And she was like, okay, now everybody's going to be really positive, and you can only say positive things. I'm like, that shit's not in my nature. Like, I'm a pretty positive person, and I always find the bright side, but I'm also pretty realistic. Like, so she goes, oh, how's the place you're staying at? I was like, well, if you like cold showers, it's great. Like, other than the cold shower was fine, but like literally it was a cold shower. Like, the hot water was not working. And she immediately, like, just her whole demeanor, energetic drop, and she turned and walked away from me. Like, literally did not say anything, just walked away. And I always found that perplexing. Like, that was just fucking weird, right? And I really thought about it. Like, you think about like why you don't necessarily energetically connect with people. And I realize now that I didn't fit because I wasn't going to be easily led. I'm not much of a lemon. Or lemming. Stupid. Okay, so I'm not much of a lemming, meaning like if a group is going somewhere I'm not interested in, I'm just not gonna go. I don't necessarily like, it's not that I'm not kind or not social or anything else like that, but like I'm totally cool with marching to the beat of my own drum. Hello. You felt that way about divorce too. Yeah. Like where you're just like, sometimes things aren't always meant, but it doesn't mean it's a failure. Like I learned so much, and I'm so grateful for that experience. And, but I would be doing a giant disservice to myself and to my girls and to him if we stayed together. Like, okay, so let's move on to questions. Okay. Catherine, we'll start with you. Am I going to get in trouble with my current university for me and my big mouth from this winter? No. Um, Getting my comfort rock. Um, the feeling, I'm going to tell you what I heard. Should I tell you? I'm going to tell you the feeling first and then I'll tell you what I heard. The feeling I got was kind of like, you're like, no, tell her what you heard first. It's like, okay, you did piss off some people, but in doing that, it's actually creating like either a policy change or some kind of change around it. It's a feeling of like, you made a comment about the ineptitude of the way some certain policies and procedures are. And I don't know why I keep seeing, I know you said the winter or whatever, but like, I've said this a couple times. There have been times where I speak up about where I see things seeming a little off. Like when I was in college in the dorms, I was like, yeah, so like this is weird the way our payment system is for housing and food, like or for specifically for like our cafeteria, whatever. This is my freshman year. I was like, maybe it was my sophomore year. I don't remember. No, yeah, it had to have been sophomore. I think I took accounting then. And it was kind of like the idea of like, why is half of the amount we pay go to like expenses, but it's not really, there's no breakdown of what that is. It's just this general thing. Like that doesn't make any sense. And go figure it out and send people out to like, because we were on a committee, whatever, went to, and they were asking about it. And then they got some general answer. I was like, yeah. But for accounting purposes, they have to know to a penny where everything is going. Where's everything going? I think we should have a breakdown of it and see exactly what it is. Well, it turns out somebody was embezzling money, and that's like kind of what it. So I feel like I haven't read your stuff yet, but I feel like whatever it is, it's like you're sort of questioning something, and it's whoever it is, it pissed them off, but it also created like a little fire under them to make a change. So I wouldn't worry about it too much, is the feeling I get. Policies that will benefit you. Yeah, I mean, I think it's more about just being more efficient is sort of the feeling I get, and more transparent. And so that inevitably benefits everybody. My circles under my eyes today. No, not retroactive. It's sort of like just going forward, this is what we're doing. And also, I can be wrong, and also you can manifest however you want it to be. So when you're like, oh, am I going to get in trouble? Stop focusing on getting in trouble. Like, of course I'm fine. It's fine. It all works out in my favor. Everything always works out in my favor. Literally, like we say, that we call them the I ams before we go to bed. I am powerful. I'm kind. I'm funny. I'm smart. I'm valuable. I'm worthy. I'm enough. Universe watches out for me. I'm safe and protected. Good things always happen to me. Everything always works out in my favor. Everything always works out best case scenario. Literally, my kids will watch and I'm like, oh, hey, look, it worked out in my favor. I'm like, yep. When you create that belief system where it is just there, it's like the more you say things, the more you believe it. So it's that idea of like, the more you say something negative, the more you believe it, the more you create it. And I have learned to just like, it doesn't mean I don't get nervous or don't get anxious. I'm like, oh, well, Anna's anxious. That's fine, because I know my higher self knows that I'm fine. Everything works out. It's all good. I get anxious about a lot of stuff going on in my life right now. And I just decide like, nope, this is the story. Do my guides or ancestors want me to go for a rhetoric, want me to go for the rhetoric or creative writing degree first? I'm not going to tell you what they want you to do, because honestly, they don't give a shit what you do. Like, really and truly, I want you to think of your guides. Your ancestors have no say in your life. No offense. They're just there for an opinion and an observation because you're the continuation of their story. Creative writing would be best. Okay. First. Okay. So that is the truth. I want you to think of your guides more as, instead of these like sentient beings who are pushing you around like pieces of, pawns on a chessboard, I want you to think of them more as like, when you go into like Google Chat or whatever it's called, I use Claude, or if you use Siri or whatever, you're asking them questions and stop. Shh, I don't want you. It's okay. Thank you so much. Bye. They're just there with information and to help if you need insight. But they don't care what you do. Unless you're so far off the track or you're just being stupid, they do not care what you do. They just don't. They're like, it's your life. Go do it. I am here as information and guidance in that sense, but I'm not moving you around like a piece of. Okay. I'm gonna get to it, but I'm clarifying that because a lot of people ask the questions that way, and I'm like, they just don't like. I've been doing this so long where I'm like, it just doesn't work that way. It just and I would be inauthentic if I wasn't telling you that. Okay. So, what I think will happen is you will move to creative writing first and then do rhetoric. It's not about which is best because either is fine, truthfully. It just feels like that's the path you're going to go. I don't know if it's like the path of least resistance, like getting in or getting accepted, but it feels like that's the path you'll move. It feels like in your mind, you shouldn't hear that because I think this, I don't know. Did y'all hear that? It feels like, sorry. In your mind, rhetoric is more of a difficult path, or there's more challenge, or it feels like I might be perceived in not the most positive light. And for whatever reason, it feels like creative writing feels like a smoother flow to me. I'm just going to tell my daughter I'm doing my readings. Does that resonate when I say that? You're scared you won't be good enough to get into creative. You're good enough. You're fine. So you have to start with those mantras. There was a question on here that I think it was Regine had asked once, and she was like noticing like something around her. I don't remember what it was, but I was like, oh, that's you. Like, I've always seen that part of you. That's the part about your guides will always see, like that potential and that like the energy that's really there. And it's this idea and a story you build up in your head of what's enough. Quite literally, my belief system around nursing was that they need nurses. So, sorry, I think I had a weird little pause there. I'll always get a job. There's always a jobs available. And so I literally never had a hard time finding jobs. Always got, like, every interview I went on was always offered for jobs. Like, not an issue. Totally my belief system. But then I started talking to people and they're like, oh, it's really hard. Like, they don't. And I was like, what do you mean? the economy's really bad. I'm like, what are you talking about? It was not my experience because I didn't move with that belief system. Did you hear what I said I did on Wednesday morning? And then like literally that afternoon, my daughter started cleaning her room without me saying a word to her. So start embodying the fact that you're already a very creative writer. People love your work. It's very easy for you to do. And good enough compared to what? Have you seen some of the shit that's published out there and making money? I mean, what was that? The whole series where the vampire and sparkly vampires and stuff? That shit was horrible. I read them all because once I start a series, I like to finish a series, but they were fucking horrible. They were written horribly and they made a shit ton of money. You're good enough. And scared of what? Oh my God, I get rejected to one school. You're not going to get rejected. But like, you're not going to die from it. I mean, I think put it into perspective. You're good enough. I don't know. I think I try to put everything in perspective compared to like death and injury, but that's probably the sickness of being a nurse. It seems so much fucked up shit where you're just like, it doesn't matter. I'll be good. Oh my God, I might embarrass myself. Okay, but I can still walk and wiggle my toes, so I'm good. Like, I'm not having to do chest compressions today on any like tiny 12-pound baby. Like, I'm good. You're sad about missing out on counseling. I don't think you necessarily missed out. Hi, Gabby. How are you? I don't think you necessarily missed out. And I think that like, that's the thing I kind of was telling the story about this woman in the circle. I was like, why? Like, I felt like I was missing out. Like, why was I not seen or whatever? It's like, fucking, I dodged a bullet, like a big time bullet by not being involved in that. I'm glad you're feeling better. Good. Like, but also, I think that you'll circle back to it. Just saying. I mean, there's been a lot in my life where I thought like, oh, I wanted something and it didn't pan out. And my Valentine's Day was, I like my younger two they were with their father for the weekend, so they're still there. What did I do? I had a guy working here finishing my bathroom. There's one thing he has to come back and finish. Actually, two things he has to come back and finish, or I have to have the main contractor guy come and figure it out. And I went to Home Depot twice yesterday, so that was pretty exciting. I picked up dinner for my other daughter and I. It's very romantic. So like, it was a quiet day. We did some cleaning. It's pretty romantic. I don't know. I like the cute little hearts, so that's why I wear that stuff. But yeah, that's what I did. And I picked up stuff because I'll make cupcakes, like little Valentine's cupcakes, and do little Valentine's with my little ones today. Regine, how are you, my dear? I am good. I am well. I got a payment from you, Gabby. So I was telling people about also how my styles of readings are changing a little bit because I'm going to really kind of lean into showing you how to get the life that you want, not just me reading the energy and feeling like, oh, well, it's not going to work out. Because that's A, it's bullshit, and B, it doesn't then follow my tagline of empowering your journey. It just leaves you where it's at. And I'm evolving, and so my readings will be evolving too. I hope everybody did have a good Valentine's Day. It was fine for me. Like, I wasn't like, oh, it's just like, I get to go run errands without having to there's a million things that are so much easier when you're not, having to check in. Manifestation is amazing. I got my daughter to clean her room. I told my friend about it. Like, some of my friends are not like, they believe what I do, but they're just like, it's not like their thing, right? So they know that I can do this thing. And I told my friend Kara, I was like, lady, I got so-and-so to clean her room. And she's like, wait a minute, what did you do? And I started telling her, she goes, I could totally get behind this kind of manifestation. I'm like, I'm telling you. You went on a date? Lady, spill the beans. Let's talk. Let me live vicariously through you. I don't know that I'm ready to date yet. I won't be a mess. Like, I'm not like, oh, and I'm definitely not, angry. Just, we went on a second date yesterday. Nice. 2 dates is good. Whose initials are JS. We've been talking some weeks on the dating app. Okay, I will get to you in just, wait, Catherine, I think did you have 2 questions and I answered only one? I think I only answered one. Do you have another one, love? Someone had 2 questions. I think that was you, Catherine. You had 2. I think I only charted one. Oh, charted. That's the nurse in me. I love that evolution shift. I had known some extremely gifted psychics, but eventually got a bit confused because they did not understand creator consciousness manifestation. Yeah, but you also see some manifestors not understanding intuition. And I think, this is what I said at the beginning, but a lot of you weren't here. So I always have loved intuition and manifestation and self-concept work. I couldn't quite figure out how they all went together because I was like, I don't know, they seem like such separate topics because that's how they're talked about, like on social media and stuff, but they all go together. So manifestation is how you express your expressive communication to the universe. Intuition is your receptive communication from the universe. And your self-concept work is like that. How healthy is it? Right? So you can always manifest and you can always receive. You can always do all of that. But the better your self-concept is, the healthier communication is. It's kind of like when you start to work on your, like in relationship with 3D, right? If you work on your communication, then your relationship gets better. And so I think that they're all, so I want to teach about how to develop your intuition, how to develop your manifestation, consciously manifesting, because we're all doing it all the time. And self-concept, because it all goes together, and like, why not fucking do it better, right? All of it. And like move through the world without anxiety, or at least learning to tamp that anxiety down a bit, because it doesn't mean I never get anxious again. Like there are certain things that just automatically trigger me because there's old beliefs around old experiences that caused a lot of trauma for me. So I still get triggered, but now I can go, there's different techniques you can use. And one of them, mine is like, oh, well, it's okay to get nervous. It's okay for her to get anxious. I know that, like, and that's okay. That's a very human experience. And we have those human experiences. And yet I know, higher self me, I know that I am fine. I know that it's all working out for me. Okay, wait. Catherine, did you have a second question? Sorry. Regina, I got your payment. I think Catherine, you had 2. And then Cindy, and then Heidi, and then Gabby, and Regine. Cindy, Heidi, Gabby, I'm putting Gabrielle, and Regine. So Catherine, what's your other question? I'll answer Cindy's quick while. Do you mind just giving me his first name, the JS, Cindy? Because there's still something energetically where it feels like this elusive feeling, and I don't know why. Oh, fuck, I'm a mess. Sorry. Stop moving. I feel like he's really analytical. In that, like, I don't know what dropped. Oh, here, this one. Little tiny smoky quartz heart. John. Okay, that works. John works. You love the new setting? Thank you. I do too. I have to, like, I still have some books and stuff that I want to bring down or over. I still need to actually secure it, so I really shouldn't be banging it because, like, okay. I have to get a ladder to do that. I put it all together myself. I was really proud of myself. It was supposed to be a 2-person lift for, but also I just like, whatever. It's this idea of like, one way that we abandon ourselves is by not keeping promises to ourselves. And so I was like, I need to get this up. I want to do that. And I was like putting it off. And then I was like, okay, I just need to do it. Anyway, okay. So Cindy, with John, I feel like he's really analytical. And I literally feel like, so if he's not literally writing out a list of like pros and cons or cost benefit ratio analysis type thing, I would be surprised. He's doing it in his head if he's not doing it literally on a piece of paper. He's big into spreadsheets. He's a Taurus. I don't know much about Tauruses. I haven't had a lot of interaction. I have a lot of like Scorpio, Capricorn, Libra, Pisces. Those are usually my main people in my life, believe it or not. So I feel like I feel like he doesn't like to get too excited about things because he's been let down a lot. So there's a feeling of really trying to like be methodical about his emotions, very logical, analytical about his emotions. So I feel like it went really well. And God dang, he is like, not in a bad way. Look, this much of type A planning might be a little exhausting for somebody like me, where I'm like, I like planners, right? But like also, just pull the trigger, big guy. Like he's trying to decide what's the best time to ask you on another date. What's like, how do we move forward? Is it time now to exchange numbers and discuss things off app? It's like he's got a whole thing going. He's been very excited about me though on the surface. No. He's very excited about you. Yeah. And there's very much, okay, I'm just seeing this. He has a belief on how things are supposed to. Yes. And that is all I'm getting about him. So I'm not saying he's not excited about you. I'm saying like, he's really like, it's just like, he likes everything in a pretty little box. He needs to go that way. And he wants to I feel like he genuinely wants to approach you like respectfully. Yes, regiment is a great word. That is a good word for this. That describes, yep. Mm-hmm. I mean, he likes you, lady. So it's like, he's just trying to figure out like the best way to like, let's bring this off app. And then what does that mean? Like, he's really wanting to think that it's heading in a nice direction. Oh, sorry. Am I blushing? I don't know. Just a little tidbit of information they were sharing about him. As regimented as he is, he's very adventurous in other places. So it won't be boring. That part of your life, experience, your relationship won't be boring. That was super funny. Thank you for embarrassing me. Appreciate it. You didn't embarrass me. They like to like pop little things and I'm like, oh, okay, we're going there. Fair enough. This is why I say that my readings are for adults only, because we're all grown-ups here. It still doesn't mean like I feel like I'm peeking in a bedroom. I'm not supposed to be opening that door. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, whoops. I mean, I think it should be important to everybody. I think compatibility and excitement should be important to everybody. Oh, my hair. Yikes, schnizo. There we go. Okay. Catherine, did you want to ask a second question or did you disappear on me? Because you paid for it. You have a bit in common too. Fabulous. Excellent. I mean, life should not be boring, right? Okay. Catherine, did you have another question or no? Where did you go, my dear? Heidi, what's your question? I think you wrote it up here. Hang on. Maybe. I'd love some insight about my career in music. Okay. Heidi, are you here? I wasn't judging on whether it was him or not. I didn't feel like it had moved to that level yet, but you're a grown up. You make your own decisions. You do what you want. I'm not judging you, honestly. There's not much I judge people on anyway, really. I mean, unless you're absolute trash, but then I often go like, oh, that probably comes from somewhere. You should address that. Okay, so I guess Catherine, if you're not Heidi, are you here? Did you leave? Oh, there you are. Okay. So when I first connected with your energy, what I noticed it was, and I still feel this way a little bit, like I feel like my throat chakra is a little tight. It almost feels like, you know, when you get a little bit of a sore throat and your tonsils feel a little swollen, or it just feels a little swollen back there, and then a little spasmy around my vocal cords. I don't think this is actually physically happening to you, so I want to say that, but it is an energetic thing where I don't feel like you're fully authentically creating the music that you want. I feel like you're creating based on genres, what people like, what you think people like. I think who this is. Let me find the name of this because this is the type of music I'm hearing right now. I think it's on this one. I think it's called High Road. Mm-hmm. And I'm just trying to, I know I heard it. And I have like, indie mix. Let's see. Is it good? Yeah. Yes. Okay, High Road by Sir Woman. Look that up. It's either that there's something about this style that resonates more with you, or something in the lyrics. So it's Sir Woman, SIRWOMAN, High Road. There's something about that. You live in Nashville, and I've actually been actively moving away from creating based on what I think will be popular. Thank you. Okay, so that validates what I was saying. You still have a little bit more ways to go to get there. And I think that's more of the like, so when I think about when I manifest consciously, and I can still feel that little tug of a belief that's there of like creating a little bit of a fear around it, or creating a little bit, well, it can't happen because of X, Y, and Z. Like there's still that belief system. Like, well, I can't manifest that experience because they're still in this position in their life. And really all conscious manifestation says is there's no, like, circumstances don't matter. The universe will make a way. So it's this idea of you going, it doesn't matter if I'm not going along with the genre or the whatever people think is popular. People are going to love it anyway because I'm being authentically myself. And that magic of just being authentically yourself is like what pulls people in. It's so fucking intoxicating and magnetic when you're just good with being you, regardless of what's around you. I mean, I'm going to start sharing stories on my TikTok again because I sat and whatever, because I'm like, well, shit, if they're coming out with things that people are eating babies, like, is it really that weird that I'm like, by the way, I've communicated with aliens and the government does watch people like psychics and intuitives, and they use them actually in their own training. It's like kind of weird, but like all kinds of weird stuff shows up. And there's a lot of people like, if they're watchers, you have to protect yourself. I'm like, man, I don't know, like whatever. I don't know. I don't want to live in that state of like, oh my God. Like, I don't, So, there was a shift for you in January, and I feel like a big shift is coming up for you in June. And until then, you're sort of taking all the baby steps there to like have that come to fruition in June, if that helps you. And I know you say you're moving away from Nashville, but I don't think you're physically moving. I think it's just an energetic shift. Though I think you're going to have something that brings you to New York briefly. Hi, Angelic Essence. Okay. So if I'm creating with authenticity, I will be okay financially. Mm-hmm. Yep. That's where you're also going to roll into like looking at your belief systems. Again, this is like what I think. I genuinely believe you will, but I also believe along that path of you doing that, when you start living authentically, like dig into, like as I'm talking, like listen to the things where I say like your thoughts create your reality, but not in the sense of like every thought I have, it's like, oh my God, right? But like your belief systems, your core belief systems, like how things show up in your life. So if you feel like if I'm really myself, then no one accepts me, no one loves me, no one values me, I'm not worthy, you're taught that somewhere, right? So society teaches us that, religion teaches us that, right? If you speak your truth, like in a lot of religious things, especially as a woman, right? Then you're not being meek and meager and sweet and loving, right? It's bullshit. You're not doing anybody any service by not having a voice and not being who you are. You are, if God is like, perfect and makes no mistakes, then he fucking created you to be authentically you for a reason. And you can tell every priest, preacher, reverend, whatever, that I said that. So there's that. Oops. I think that what will happen with money is you just start to realize, like, you can just start owning this and say it. You don't have to believe it. You just say it over and over, and it ends up programming in your brain. Like, money comes to me easily. Money comes to me in ways that I'd never expected. I'm always taken care of. I can always easily pay my bills. Like, sometimes going from like living paycheck to paycheck, people are like, oh, I live paycheck to paycheck. Well, it's much more positive or an affirming tone to say I can easily pay my bills, because paying paycheck to paycheck, you're still paying your bills. You may not have a lot left over, but I can easily pay my bills. It shifts the energy for you. So you shift from saying I'm living paycheck to just say I can easily pay my bills. That feels more empowering. That statement feels more empowering. And then you're gonna let me say this. Then you're gonna shift to like, oh, I always have a little extra at the end of the month. You don't even have to say what it is. A little extra can be $10. That's still a little extra, right? But you're going to start shifting that. And my music allows me to pay for my lifestyle. That means rent, that means insurance, that means like whatever it is, gas money, food, necessities. Oh, and then it shifts to like, I really think baby stepping is way easier than going to, personally, and I've thought this for a long time, than going to like the big far end thing, because there's too many things that your brain will have cognitive dissonance about and fight you on. If you go from like, I'm not making any money doing what I do, to like, I'm famous and well known for what I do. Like, my music is like so well received. Like, sometimes that's just such a big gap, and there's so much cognitive dissonance that happens, and you're fighting against, you're swimming upstream basically. So that's what I would say. I would start there, of like recognizing that you can pay your bills, you're okay, you're doing fine. To, oh, look, I'm making a little bit extra every month. See that happen. Oh, look, I have enough to get X, Y, and Z, or put away X, Y, and Z, or invest X, Y, and Z, or travel, or like whatever, pick something else so it's like a little bit bigger, and move towards that. And also start calling yourself an artist now. Like, I am doing this. I am an artist, right? I am a paid artist. Like, whatever it is, I own it now. Like, when somebody are like, well, I want to be a writer. Are you writing currently? Then you're a writer. Congratulations. Like, right? And I think the reason why I think that way is just because it was those awareness moments where I was like, why am I saying that when I've already got this? Like, why have and it was just deciding to become the observer of my own life rather than judgment or continuing on this repeat of whatever, just deciding that I wanted to observe how I spoke to myself and where did my thought patterns come from, all of that. Catherine, still waiting for your second question if you want to ask it. If not, thanks for the extra money this week. I'm not chasing after anybody anymore to fulfill your questions. Gabby, what's your question there, dear? Angelic, are your initials KM? Okay. I'm just going to put Angelic on here so I don't have to spell the whole thing, if that's okay. Do you think things looking up from here on out, you just feel like postpartum has been a bit rough, but I'm so happy to be feeling better. Yeah. I feel like maybe like a bit baby bluesy. I keep getting around like in the mid 5 to 6 week postpartum, but it doesn't feel like it lasts, and it doesn't feel like I need really any intervention. It just feels, I feel a little bit that week, I feel a little bit overwhelmed. So it's making sure you ask your husband for support. Like I feel like that week is hard to find time to shower. And it's sort of, it just feels a little bit more overwhelming. Like, can I do it? And so maybe you're not getting enough sleep. So there's that growth. Maybe she's having a little growth spurt then. And I just feel like making sure you're asking him to support you through that. Like, I need to take a shower. Can you take the kids? Or I need to take a nap. Can you take the kids? Like, just asking for those little things and not feeling like somehow you're failing by needing help. It's sort of insane to me in modern day. I mean, I did everything on my own. It was insane. What I decided was like required of me. Like, because I had a nursing background that I knew how to take, so I should just do it all. Or because I was a stay-at-home mom, I should just do it all. Up all night breastfeeding, like just literally never sleeping, like to the point where I was so sleep deprived, my arms felt like they were on fire. My left arm felt like it was sunburned for a while because it was just sleep deprivation. That's how the anxiety showed up. Was like, it's weird. And I just feel like it's really, really important for you to not ask for help, to not feel like you have to do it all or that you're a failure if you can't do it all. You have to fly back east soon for my mom's stuff going on. So that's just very, very stressful too. I find it interesting, and I'm going to say this, that they're requiring you so near, like so fresh, and you're not allowed to ask for an extension or a Zoom meeting. And I would make that very clear to them because that's fucking weird. You can look it up. Childbirth is the most traumatic thing your body will go through. Being born and giving childbirth are quite literally two of the most traumatic things that will happen in most people's lives. We think that because women give birth every day that it's like, oh, it's like just giving birth. Like, no, motherfuckers. Like, this is a big deal. And recovery takes more than just 3 to 5 days. That's just when you don't need to have somebody looking out for you, right? Like, your body takes a long time to recover and recuperate. And like, I'm so baffled by what is expected of women after birth. I mean, Jesus Christ, men get a cold and they're like, I'm dying. And like, I literally just shot a watermelon out of my garage. Like, what the fuck? And like, I'm supposed to go back to work in 6 weeks. So yeah. I would ask for just say, do you require a note from my doctor? Or would you like the lawyers fucking love data. They like facts. So like, would you like me to find the medical data that says that this is like insane? I want you to look up like how many weeks postpartum are you going to be and you're supposed to fly, and are you supposed to fly with your baby, and what risk does that put your baby in? Because if you're breastfeeding, you probably need to bring her. Like, I want you to start looking at that data and give it to him. Don't just ask nicely. Ask with fucking information, because that's what lawyers like. Just do. They like facts and data. They don't like emotions. They don't care about emotions. They don't care about your emotions. They are not empathetic. They just aren't. They want to know what angle they can get, whatever. How many weeks postpartum will you be then? Yeah, fuck them. Sorry, but like, I think it's fair to request for Zoom given the extenuating circumstances. Whoever is demanding that has never pushed out a child themselves. Guaranteed. Still. You can look at if she hasn't had her vaccinate, if she hasn't been immunized yet. Vaccination is like she's a puppy. If she hasn't been immunized yet, and you've had surgery and everything else, you're going to need more recovery time. And so you're either going to get notes from your doctor, and you're going to say, if you need a note from my doctor, like a school would need, I'm happy to provide that. And furthermore, if your daughter is not immunized or has whatever it is, she doesn't have her 2-month vaccines, I don't think it's safe for you to fly, period. And I would say that until she has her 2-month vaccines, and you can get the pediatrician to write a note on that. It's too risky, and that's just stupid, especially with all the shit going around. Like, you're welcome. I think your wellness and safety is paramount. There's no reason that they can't provide you a space where you're at for a Zoom testimonial. They did Zoom all through COVID. There's no reason they can't do that now, given that, and accommodate something like that. And just get documentation and create that. Fucking lawyers. I have lots of lawyers in my family. Fucking lawyers. Even one of my best friend, her husband's an attorney, and her son was like, well, I was like, get the facts, man. If you want to prove something to your dad, you want him to do something, like you want him to change his mind on you being able to do X, Y, and Z, go find statistics and facts, and he will change his mind. He does not care about your emotions. And it's like so true. He's like, oh, that's a good point. I was like, yeah, because he's got lawyer brain. It is crazy. People are crazy. Okay. Regine, what's your question? Yes. Oh, interesting. I heard, as soon as you said, what do I need to know? I heard, what are you missing? You mean, what are you missing? What are you not catching? Have you connected with your guides? Because there's one guide in particular that has been it's like making himself more known now. And he's kind of got a larger than life personality. He's very smart, obviously, if he's the guide. But but when he was embodied a long time ago, he was really, really smart. It's funny because I feel like his accent though is almost like from the islands, like is it Tobago or is that what I'm thinking of? Is that an island? Is that the whole thing? Sorry. Geography is not my friend. But I heard Tobago, so. Oh, it is an island. Fabulous. So look up Tobago and see if that makes any sense. Oh, okay. Yeah. Trinidad, Tobago. Okay, great. So, he's kind of talking about he's going to be working with you because there's contracts or some kind of contracts or legal stuff coming up for you. Not scary stuff, just like creating an LLC, things like that, and also something around real estate. Maybe that's your renting a place, but I feel like he's working with you closely on that kind of stuff. Like that's his specialty is contracts and legal stuff. he's like, I dabble a little bit in medicine and magic, but really, I'm really here to help her with all the contracts and things. Um, he's talking about how he was the person who everybody came to work things out when he was embodied, um, to seek advice and counsel. Um, he has a very big smile. Um, he has the ability to go from like being very poker face, like um, warrior like, to being very warm and welcoming. Um, have you done work? I mean, like, does this even sound familiar to you? Because it just feels like I stopped and I heard you need to know who you're working with. Um, I heard he's happy to guide you for now, but he's kind of temporary. He's somebody you're gonna sort of connect with or call in uh, when you have legal things that need to be sorted out. So sort of when you're doing your manifesting and seeing things like, oh, things are always working out for me, he's sort of the one who's energetically moving stuff that in that direction, as far as like contracts and legal things. But it's like this feeling around your business. I feel like needing to make it more solid, more real, more legally protected. I do want to say something because I feel like you need to make sure you're putting somewhere like a disclaimer for entertainment purposes only, because there are so many states and countries that have fortune teller laws. It's really important that you do that. Uh, oh my God, Jeffrey, lady, how are you? Um, that's kind of what they're talking about. It's like sort of like now it's time to make things real more, and that might be the Saturn moving into Aries, sort of like slowing it down, making things official, doing things the right way, moving forward that way. Okay, angelic, you're up. I think you wrote your question somewhere. I'll check it. And then if you guys want to do some card readings or you just have some questions about what's going on in the world, if you want me to look at any of that information, I tend not to read into it unless, like, I'll get things here and there. Um, we can do the tarot, oracle card pulls if you want to have one. Those are free. I've been doing IVF for 5 years. We have had 2 miscarriages. Is there something I need to focus on this cycle to get pregnant? I'm starting. What is Orlissa? Oh, for endometriosis. Um, so on an energetic level, this isn't on the medical, physical stuff. Energetically speaking, um, do you know or do you recall, because sometimes we don't, if you had any SA as a child, because that's kind of where I'm being pulled, is needing to sort of not make amends, right? So it's not that it's ever okay, but yes, okay, because that's where I'm getting pulled. So it's this idea of I'm going to say this because I am not a therapist and I want to make sure that you are getting support that you need beyond this. Looking at maybe a therapist that works with somatic healing and trauma being kind of stuck in the body. But some techniques that have been helpful for me was looking at having conversations with my younger self and letting that part of me know that I'm safe and protected now, and that I believe that we can heal like all spaces of time, past, present, and future. Like I believe that we can go back to those times and be present and protective. Um, Even imagining like, because I feel like your mom wasn't protective of you, even imagining the conversation differently, your mom being protective. And I know like your logic brain is like, but I feel like that offers healing to you. Um, we need to remember that the world is so much bigger than what we've been told it is. And we're capable of so much more than we've been told we are. Um, but that was really helpful to like then remind myself in those times of uh, um to sorry. One of the things that's holding you back from getting pregnant is that fear of that repeated trauma or not wanting your child to go through that. Um, so having a conversation with yourself and reminding yourself and like all parts of yourself, right? All ages that will never happen to your child. That it's not possible because you are too protective. Um, and then something else that was helpful for me was doing this. I can't remember what the technique is called, but it's sort of like removing the power from something. So it's this idea of reminding yourself, like, it's okay to be a mom. It's okay not to be a mom. It's okay to be pregnant. It's okay not to be pregnant. It's okay to be like whatever, but always do the opposites, right? It's okay to have it and it's okay not to have it. Um, I also feel like writing a letter to your abuser, perpetrator, whatever you want to call it, and burning it is really important. Um, Imagining fighting back, like whatever it is, do that. Um, and burning it and releasing it. This is a really big period, right? So the snake year is ending on the 17th, the fire horse year is beginning, and the snake year is about shedding. So this would be like the absolute perfect time to get rid of all of this. And then welcoming that baby in. I have to be very honest with you. I don't think you get pregnant on this cycle. I feel like it's either 2 or 3 cycles out. So this one, the second or third one. So not this cycle, but then, yeah. So I do feel like this medicine for your endometriosis will be helpful, but I also think doing this energetic stuff is helpful to release too. I'm leaning towards it being a little girl that comes in. I keep hearing she will be good, she will be safe, she will be okay. It's interesting because I always wanted to have little boys. I always thought I would be a boy mom. I have 3 girls, newsflash. And I think there was a subconscious fear about their own safety. 2 to 3 months of Orlissa. Okay. And I do believe you'll be pregnant and it'll be a successful pregnancy. But I also think it's really important to do that like positive and negative thing where it's like, it's okay to be pregnant. It's okay to be a mom. It's okay not to be a mom. It's okay because you are whole and complete just as you are. Yeah. But the thing is you're going to keep her safe. I mean, I literally cut out family to make sure my kids were safe. So, it wasn't easy. There was a lot of pushback and a lot of like, well, it's your fault our family's not together. And I said, yeah, motherfuckers, it is. Not really my fault, but my choice to make sure that my girls were safe. And so, you will do everything that you can. You will not repeat the cycle that your mom did. Okay. I think just doing that work. One thing that was interesting when I was having a little bit harder time getting pregnant with my oldest, and like it was taking longer. And I had a meditation where I saw myself where my friend Lena can tell me the time period because I can't remember it now, but I was explaining to her and then I saw like a TikTok about that time period. I was like, holy shit, I know that I lived in that time period because of the way the buildings were. They were unique and there was indoor plumbing. And we all think that indoor plumbing is a fairly recent thing, but it's not. I'm telling you, it's not. And I was washing which is weird, you have indoor plumbing, but I was still washing my laundry near a river. And my children were playing in the river and one of them drowned. I don't know which one or how it worked, but in that life, I also took my own life because my husband in that life was so like, he wouldn't talk to me anymore. He was so angry. And I just was a shell of myself when I went in and I took my own life. And that was like, I've had several lifetimes I know where I've lost children traumatically. And I think that also hinders us. Like there's echoes because I fully believe that our lives are all happening at once. And so there's echoes that cross into other lifetimes. So know that you would never, ever let that happen to your daughter, that you will be extra protective. Believe me, you will be extra protective. To make sure that they are safe. Okay. And hang in there because that is a tough road, and make sure that you have good supports outside of your husband because as much as I do feel like he's loving and supportive and I feel like he loves you and adores you and literally like while he wants children, I feel like he's sort of a fact like I found the best woman on earth and I would be with her no matter what. And I don't need this in order to feel like I already won. You still need, I feel like, sort of like that support from other women, especially women that have gone through it. Because it's a lot. It's a lot physically. It's a lot emotionally. I mean, the hormones are insane. So All right, Devry, you're up. And then Catherine, you still have one if you want it. If not, we can move on. Devry, what's your question? And I'm sending you so much love because I mean, as like uneloquent as it is, it sucks. And it's meditations, but it's also remind you in the moment when you like, I feel like reminding yourself and doing them as meditations, writing a physical letter. So there's studies out of Harvard that validate what a lot of some of the indigenous cultures used to do. You could do this too, especially around the trauma, is where you take a physical object, you can write it on a piece of paper, whatever, and go and release it into nature, into like either into a water, and talk about leave your trauma there for the universe. And supposedly this is like Harvard did studies and they're like, yeah, this actually is one of the best ways to release trauma. So might be worth trying. I haven't, but I'm thinking about it when it gets a little bit warmer. So if you see me out in the woods, no, you didn't. Talk to the trees too. Tell them who your person was. They take care of things. I've always been fully of the belief that, and I've had this for a long time, like I don't have to seek revenge because the universe finds balance. It always finds balance and always takes care of things. And like, I had a job as a travel nurse at this one place that was, I liked the kids. Some of the staff is pretty awful. And several of them got fired after I left. And not necessarily because of me, right? But I always just trust the universe finds balance 100%. So like water seeking its level, right? So, and then I look and I'm like, well, I guess I kind of created some of this shit with the whole, our beliefs create our reality. And I'm like, fuck, now I'm responsible. So it's all of that and then some, but it's also okay to have compassion with yourself and like move through things with intention and love. All right, Catherine. Devry, are you here? Devry, what's your question? If not, we'll move on. If you guys want to ask just general questions about like the world, what I see energetically happening, we can do that. We can do oracle card readings. Devry, whenever you're ready for your reading, just jump in and put your question in. Sound good? Because I don't see you didn't say hello in here. You just paid. All right. Who wants an oracle card reading, or who has a question about general energies? I've been working through that myself with this situation. The trash will sort itself out while I move on to greener pastures. Otherwise, I get witness to chaos and still be part of the machine. Yeah. Can you tell me more about world stuff, general impressions? Can you be more specific? Because world stuff is very, very general. And then when I ask things that are so wide and general, we're going to get all kinds of weird shit. McKeegan, let me know what card, and then also let me know what cards you want. Your questions in PayPal. Thank you, Devry. That's for James. There we go. Deborah, you haven't been watching this whole thing, have you? Because I said as I've evolved, my readings are evolving. So I do feel like you'll get a job. I honestly feel like it takes a couple months. I don't know what it is, but I feel like it's better. On the flip side of that, my tagline is empowering your journey. So what comes along with that is drag your thing over, because I think you're a little behind, Jeffrey. What comes along with that is me telling you how to do it. So I want you to look at what your feelings, what your thoughts, your beliefs are around money and paying bills, and how hard is it to earn money, Is there always a struggle? And a lot of that comes from our childhood, right? So what we were exposed to. And I talked about this with someone else on here where I said, I think it was Heidi, where I said, switching from the belief system like, oh, money only comes in for gas. Well, then that's all that's going to continue to come in. Right. So switch to baby stepping it, where you decide that like, I'm always easily able to pay my bills. So rather than I live paycheck to paycheck, I'm always easily able to pay my bills. Start there, start small. So whatever job I get, I'm easily able to pay my bills. And once you've like decided that you can own that and you're okay with that, right? Like your body feels like settled. It doesn't feel like your nervous system is activated. You're going to move to like, I can always pay my bills. So then you're going to move to like, I can easily pay my bills and I have a little extra. It just feels like there's that you're stagnated in that belief system around money and around jobs being hard to get and hard to come by. And literally that's everything that we put out there beliefs wise happens. And when you start to look at life that way, rather than just start to observe it, no judgment, no like, but the sort of the question needs to come up of like, what beliefs am I holding that might show this? So one woman I did a reading for recently, she wants to be in this fraternal organization, and she's also having an issue with somebody, a woman at work who's her superior. And I was kind of like, hey, you don't have problems working with people that are younger than you, like you're really great at it. But when people are your age, like your level, peer or superior, there's struggles. What are your beliefs around how this shows up? And she's like, well, they always see me as a threat. And I was like, she's like I'm competition. I'm like, and so now when we take that same belief system around joining a fraternal organization, like that same thing's going to come up. Everybody always sees you as a threat or competition. And so you're not going to be accepted. Right? So you shift that belief system. Now that you know that, and literally it oftentimes just takes the awareness of knowing where it comes from and going, oh, well, shit, I don't have to hold on to that anymore. Okay, done. Good. Bye. Right? Understanding that. And then you adopt a new belief system. You're reprogramming, you're updating the computer system. That's basically what we are. Right? And then the code just has to follow the instructions. So when you decide what the instructions are, the code has, or the commands, the code has to be followed. The computer has to follow that code and show up that way. So then what you decide is like, this woman was like, oh, well, you know what? Like people love me. People feel safe around me. They feel like I'm inviting and magnetic. They always want me to be around. Women feel safe, you know, trusting me, whatever it is. Right. So with mine, I had a lot of issues with women as friends because I always felt like I wasn't accepted. I wasn't, you know, enough, whatever, or I was too much. But more often not enough. And I finally like light bulb went on about like, oh, well, my mom neglected me as a kid. And it wasn't because she was like just, you know, on drugs and too tired, or whatever. She was working and she was a single mom. And like, there was all kinds of stuff around that. And she didn't have the tools, blah, blah, blah. And so I was like, oh, I don't have to hold on to that anymore. Look how silly that is. Now I'm going to decide something new. And you consciously decide something new. So you consciously decide it's easy for me to find jobs. Does it show up right away? Sometimes not. But you keep persisting beyond that. Like you don't go, oh, look, it didn't happen the first time. Just like I said, another example before where I was like, I didn't get on the ice and decide like, I want to do a waltz job tomorrow. Like I'm not even there yet. Like not even near there. One day, right? But I'm not giving up on myself because it didn't happen in 2 seconds. I'm persisting. 2 months is what I got. And my belief is, because I'm planting the seed right now with you, that you're going to start observing your belief systems on what you believe around money, how money comes in, how easily it comes in, and around jobs and what you're deserving of jobs and what you're worthy of when it comes to jobs and the limiting beliefs that you have around that. Yes, absolutely. And sometimes that awareness and that deciding takes a tiny bit of time and persistence for it then to show up in the 3D. And not giving up on yourself because it doesn't show up exactly right away. Because it doesn't take anything away to shift those thoughts up here. It's not harming you at all. There's a belief system out there that we're taught that, like, well, if you think too good of yourself, then you're arrogant or you're delusional. Like that's a way to keep you down and keep you small and keep you unempowered. And what I'm telling you is you will be much more empowered if I'm telling you, I know you want a straightforward answer, but I'm not the reader for you that you're going to get a straightforward answer. I told you 2 months and I told you here's why and here's what would benefit you to, like, what's going to benefit you and get you there and why it takes a little bit of time. And you can argue with me on that all you want, but that's what I'm feeling. You can make it happen faster. Dig in. Just decide. You don't even have to feel anything about it. Just decide it. Fuck it. This job is coming in. I have a job that pays me more than enough money. Stop talking about the lack, right? I can easily pay my gas bills. Not, I'm just only able to. Put it into an empowering statement. I can easily pay my gas bills and more. I can easily pay whatever. Change it to a fucking empowering statement. Stop being small about it. You are not small. You are a very big, massive kinetic energy. Like, it's there. You need to believe that about yourself. Stop playing small. You deserve better. I was almost like for a second expecting my youngest to walk in. I'm like, oh yeah, she's not here. Can I bring my water down? No. All of you stop playing small. I realize how many times I do stuff like where I think about what I want to create, what I want to manifest, and I'm not specific enough. And maybe that's fear that it's not going to really happen or I'll be disappointed. But I was like, fuck it. I'm going all in. They're eating babies. I'm going all in on life. I don't care how delusional I seem. I saw a thing with Obama talking about, like, someone was doing an interview with him. And they're like, he's even talking about aliens. It's like, and he's like, I've never seen them. And you see a quick micro smile. Like, it's super quick. I'm like, yes, he has. Yes, he has. And then when he says, like, there's something else he says, and then he takes a sip, and I'm like, he's lying. He's lying. He knows. He has the highest security clearance. He knows. Okay, Misty, wait, what did you want to know about Pam Bondi? Will she pay? She will. What's interesting is most of the women that are involved in this will go down. It's still patriarchy and it's still white supremacy. And so if you notice who's been in jail, women, and then also Diddy, like white supremacy and patriarchy. So for sure, she's going to. I heard somebody say that she's got like a tower moment in her chart, whatever. And also I've said, like, there were some people who are like, oh, Trump is going to die. I'm like, no, he's one of those, like a cockroach. It's going to hang on for fucking dear life for a long time. And pay is relative, right? So, I mean, I think what a lot of people think would pay would be just like guillotines and firing squads for all of them. Maybe that's just me. There's just so many people. I said this to my friend before it all came out, like how big it was, where I was like, this is like worldwide. This is like economy's just crumbling. Oddly, I know we'll be okay, but I also believe a lot of this coming out will push us to have the progressive government I've always seen. And actually, and I've said this for a really long time, 2 women in the White House in 2028. I don't know that they're going to pick the same old establishment people anymore. I think they're going to go big or go home is kind of what it's going to be. like people are sort of seeing this where like they're eating babies, like where I'm like, whatever, the house prices are dropping in your area. Great. You know what I mean? Like, um, I mean, I own a home, right? But like, I don't think that we need to price so many people out of the market. The other thing is I think that private equity firms are going to start collapsing or not being able to function the way that they have once done. And I also feel like there's going to be, especially once more progressive come in, there's going to be a forced sale of a lot of the private homes that private equity bought up. And I don't think that home prices will tank, right? But I think they'll come back to a reasonable level, right? I also feel like there's going to be changes in the way the tax system works. Um, like here in New Jersey, property taxes are what pays for school, which is the majority of our property taxes. And then like a lot of developers and businesses don't have to pay, you know, they're like 20-year abatements and all of that kind of shit. That's going to be ending. Um, so, okay. Should we do some card readings? Or do you have any more, Misty, do you want any more specific questions about the world? Just because, like, again, that one is really general. Again, I think a lot of this time. Oh, wait, no, I want to share with you because I shared this with one of my clients during her reading. So I talked about the ways that we use our manifesting as your expressive communication, intuition is your receptive communication, and your self-concept is like the level of health around your communication. And then also we talked about, just lost it. Oh, fuck my brain. Oh, the divine feminine. Okay, so if you've been in the like spiritual space, they talk about the divine feminine rising, right? So there's two parts to this, right? So there's so how white supremacy and patriarchy has failed men too is the idea where they teach them about being masculine is about protection and like, but protection of like solid things, right? Protection of property and physical bodies, right? But they miss the protection of the spiritual and energetic emotional space, right? So they're supposed to provide safety in that space so then a woman is able to, because a woman is not able to receive completely unless they feel emotionally and spiritually safe, right? So they're not allowed to like fully express themselves and embody themselves. Um, and you can read through the lines on that one. And so that's like part of masculinity that has been like they've basically been cut off at the balls, if you will. And so there's like that part of femininity rising, well, basically where the masculine embody their full masculinity, right? And the women are able to embody their full, or women presenting, or however you want to take it, are able to embody their full femininity. But then there's also the side of where we talk about our chakras and our, right? So our lower chakras are our masculine chakras. And we've all been in the masculine, right? Of having to be in this very like, especially women in many ways, right? We're still taught a little bit more about intuition, but we're not allowed to like fully embody our intuitive space, right? Because it's too much. We need to make everybody else feel safe emotionally, make sure everybody else is taken care of. But that's the divine feminine rising too, is everybody wanting to step into their intuitive space and using their heart chakras and above in a more empowered space rather than in a very lower level space, right? Okay, I just had to like go off on that for a second. You want to hear about aliens now? Okay, so what I know about aliens, the ones that I've seen are the Greys and what I think are called the Nordics. They are observers. So the way in which I've interacted with them, there was one called Jack, and he was kind of doing housekeeping, and they didn't normally let him talk to people, but he seemed to make me laugh. He was very funny. Like they speak telepathically. The Nordics are kind of like all business. They're not really into like, they're just like data collectors, right? They're like more on top, but they're like, they don't really, it's not that they don't see us as being, but we're just not, we're just information to them. They do watch people who are really intuitive. I don't know if you've like looked at stuff about the GATE program. They're sort of following people to figure out who's more intuitive and what they can do and like that stuff. Purple short ones. I've never seen those. I'm not saying I don't believe it. I think any shit's real. Like at this point, I'm like, I am open to it all. So they have the ability to view you, but you're not, it's not like you're being viewed like they're standing in your room, though they can, but that's not usually how they do it. They usually, it's like looking through like a looking glass, essentially. They're able to do it without the tool, but then they're able to allow other government people to look and see this. So the ones that are saying like, oh, I've never seen it, they're full of shit. They've fully seen it and worked with it. They're not necessarily in underground spaces or the ocean. Like there's buildings, like I'm telling you that I'm just driving through DC to get to go visit. There's buildings kind of on the outskirts that they're working in. I don't know about, listen, I've never connected with a lizard person. I have seen an insect being once. And not like they're fully, this is the other thing. They don't have to be fully materialized in front of you in order to connect with you. I wish I could say like, oh, because I don't know that the lizard people are controlling things. I don't know about that. I'm not willing to say no anymore. Especially after all the shit that's coming out. I'm not willing to say no about that. I'm open. But I just still think there's a whole chunk of people that are just really fucking awful and evil and disturbing. What else do you want to know about the aliens? I know that I was shut off for a while from being observed because I am a little mouthy. And I mouthed off to somebody who had a very tiny ego and shut me down and was like, you can't watch her anymore because I insulted him. Oh, well. Interesting topic. Well, Violets, somebody asked, so gloves are off. Whatever, this is who I am. I think there's more of just of a lot of observation than anything. And maybe it's a game to them. Like now, the more I think about it, it's like some of it might be a game of like, how awful can humans be? I mean, we're essentially like animals in a zoo sometimes to them, just observing, not necessarily harming. You've met people that seemed like different species. Yeah. Do I think they have, I don't really know what to say. So universes, timelines, things overlap. And as much as you like, there's sometimes overlaps ours, and that's also how we're connected. It's not necessarily that they're fully embodied here. I definitely believe in underground military bases. They're huge, almost unfathomable. I had one experience where I intentionally sort of did what do they call it? Remote viewing. Because there was somebody posting something about booms they were hearing, and they were kind of in the desert. I actually haven't seen any of his content, but whatever. They filter things differently. And so I intentionally connected with it to see what was happening. And it was definitely something military. And I was standing in a huge hallway of sorts. Think like, where Star Wars, where they have the big square hallways. They're massive and people are traveling through them. It was sort of looked like that, really sterile. And And there was another time where I had a dream and I astral travel a lot in my dreams, like into other people's bodies, experiencing what they're experiencing, which is weird. So I was all of a sudden found myself in one of these hallways, and then I got like what felt like a bag being pulled over my head, but it wasn't scary and it was just like lights out kind of thing. And then sitting in a chair in a room at a table, and there was another man standing next to me, and he was like military kind of guy, no mask on or anything. And I was like, and then like in the room on the other end, there was a door and another military person with like full, like all kinds of weapons and stuff on him walking. And I said, well, that's overkill. And he said, huh? I said, it's overkill. I'm not really here. And he's like, what? I was like, well, we know I'm not really here. And then it was lights out again and I was gone. So sometimes I think that they try to see how much somebody knows about where they're at. I saw somebody talking about for remote viewing, like something about not people not knowing you're there or something like that when you remote view. And that's not true. The right people will know you're there. So I know that. Hi, Violets. Sorry, I didn't say hello when I said so. I have seen a UFO here in the UK. 100% I know it was. I saw one when I was a kid. I used to, in high school, my friends and I would go and jump on their trampoline in the backyard. And where we lived in Wisconsin, you weren't allowed to have street lights. Like it was a town ordinance. And so you just saw all the stars. There wasn't a lot of, what do they call that? Anyway, so I saw stuff definitely when I was like watching the stars, and it was not shooting stars like at all. So anyway, so what was I saying? Oh, I believe they train psychics or train people in the military psychics, and part of their testing is to like be able to peek in on people like me and see how quickly they get caught. It's a game. It never bothers me. I don't care. I'm like always like, hi. I acknowledge them. I have conversations with them. One guy yesterday, I was like, oh, your grandma's with you. And that kind of weirded him out. And I was like, because his grandma's in spirit. Because she's not happy about what he's doing. She's concerned about his safety. One guy freaked him out because I was like, your wife is pregnant. And because he was very arrogant, and you can't fuck with that kind of energy and do that kind of work and think that somebody won't fuck with you in a way that's like beyond crazy. It's not just like, we're going to kill you. We're going to like energetically, the shit that they can do is really messed up. If you don't know like how to keep yourself energetically protected and things like that, if you don't stand in your own power, if you don't understand all of that, none of this harms you. They don't have power over you. So that's my weirdness. I'll be on the blacktop this week and some parent randomly watching this is like, she's fucking crazy. Did you hear about her? They do a lot of stuff, and I think some of it will come out. I mean, there's already stuff about experiments that they're doing for seeing how psychic people are. And I don't know. Maybe I'm not supposed to talk about it because I'll try and take advantage of my abilities, but what the fuck ever. They can't. So this guy scared, and then I didn't see people for a while because I actually kind of was like, I kind of fucked with him, like, because I was like, how arrogant of you to come in here and think that, like, I mean, he was creeping with total arrogance. And I was like, motherfucker, because he's putting his whole family at risk by being stupid. Interesting or weird, I don't know. It's my normal. Like, I've always heard my guides. They've always talked to me. I've never thought that there was anything different about it. Some people have talked about, like, in the GATE program, how just different experiences, like, oh, I've always had my abilities. I've never lost them. They've never gone away. I just never put credence into what other people said about it being, I just knew who to talk about it. with and who not to talk about it with. But I feel like I've proven enough to enough people and to myself that this is real. There's a lot of experiences. And honestly, when people talk about demons, demons are not. What you have to worry about is the egregores, but not the demons. So the egregore is the energy around what somebody made you believe that demon was. That's not the demon itself. Are they capable? Are you able to ask for intercession and their assistance with things? Yes. But they themselves are not what the egregore is. And the egregore is like, this thing is really bad. They want blood and they want all of that stuff. That's what all of those people have been worshiping, per se. That was all man-made. It's a man-made thought and energy given to a thought. That's what a lot of hauntings are. It's all around man-made beliefs. Anything like that, it's always around man-made beliefs. Your beliefs create your reality. And it's like all the way around. All right, who wants a card reading? Unless you have another question about that. Okay, McKeegan, what card do you want? Got Magic and Mediums, Past Life, Wisdom of the Oracles, Voice of the Souls, the Witches one, Crystals, Spirit Animal, Trust Your Vibes, Enchanted Map, World and Myth. I think this Dragon Path one. Use that. I haven't offered that in a while. McKeegan. You want the Dragon Path? Okay. All right, we'll do yours first. These are free. So if you're here still, people are like, look at people left. They were like, you've been on too long or you're getting a little weird. I told you. I experience a lot more than I often share with people. I have experienced like timelines crossing over each other from like the American Revolution. All right, this is from McKeegan. What dragon should he have? Okay. Oh, interesting. I'm giving you two because two came out. The first one is 25, The Philosopher. That's this one. Sorry about that. Let me back it up. You should follow that which you seek with your heart. This wise old dragon is about learning and the direction your life is taking. This can be in your 3D physical world or on a metaphysical level. He shows up when you have been considering taking up any kind of study, whether you are returning to or continuing with formal education or undertaking personal or spiritual development. He came to me bringing a strong connection to Galileo and to the planets, the solar system, mathematics, and science. He says, one is never too old or young to learn. Set your sights high and reach for the stars, for you have much to gain from and to reveal to your learning partners. He has a particular affinity with the stars and constellations and is often associated with people learning the old arts such as astrology, scrying, and divination, as well as the sciences. He goes on to say, you have been putting off that which you want to learn. Your self-doubt hinders you from following your passion and your true path. Your affinity with the old arts is the starting point of your journey. Take this as notice that you follow that which you seek with your heart, for only then will you truly tread the steps of your destiny. Sorry. His presence helps us navigate our world in a chosen direction. He becomes our compass, our guiding star. When we are at a loss as to what comes next, call upon his presence to help steer you forward. And the other one is Merlin the Dragon, and that's 21. It says, continue your journey discovering what you need to learn, understand, and own. Merlin the Dragon, to give him his full name, is incredibly large and sage old dragon. Is an incredibly large and sage old dragon, whose message is one of teaching and learning. If he has found his way into your reading today, his message is this: not all things are as they seem. Some are images being reflected back to you in order for you to understand discernment and learn the lessons of self-trust. Only once you have done this will you discover how to stand in your own power and own who you truly are. The Grand Master Dragons are able to shapeshift between their dragon and human or angelic form, in whichever guise he adopts. Merlin is the teacher of the teachers, so heed his wise counsel. You are unable to teach others until you fully understand the lesson yourself. Once you have mastered these, you are in a position of clarity and ownership and can share your wisdom with integrity and power. Until then, hold your tongue and continue your journey, discovering what you need to learn. Understand and own. Only then will you be in a place of authority to share your knowledge with others. If you notice that owls keep crossing your path, know that Merlin is around and willing to share his infinite wisdom with you and show you what you need to learn. He will stretch you and often answer questions with another question, encouraging you to seek the answer from within. He is not an easy grandmaster to work with, but he will guide you well. Okay. Okie doke. You're very welcome. Cindy wants enchanted map. McKeegan wants magic and mediums. So we'll do McKeegan. Oh wait, no. I just did that for you. Sorry, enchanted map, and then Violet's wants enchanted map. That's it, just 3 of you? Misty, did you want one? Are you still here? Okay, so the next 3 are enchanted map. So first we'll do Cindy, and then Violet's, and then Misty. All right. So Cindy, what card does she need this week? You too get 2. All right, you get 27 home and 31 dry desert. 1, 2, 3, 4, make a wish. Oops. $27, upright. You are comfortable in your own skin. You belong. Peace, security, safety, belongings, and all the features. Sorry, this is home. Did I show this to you? I don't think I did. There you go. Peace, security, safety, belonging, and all the features one would want from home are indicated now. The home card represents an invitation to experience what it's like to be secure in your own skin, to live comfortably no matter what is happening in the world around you. It is a time for opening your eyes to your tribe of like-minded people or one special person who makes you feel like you've come home. Home is love, and love is all around you now. Whatever your inquiry, you are where you're meant to be and will reap great benefits by staying on this path regardless of where it leads. Home will always be with you. It is where the heart is. And then dry desert. Seems like the antithesis, so we will see. You're welcome. I'm giving you 2 cards because 2 came out. Dig deep for inspiration and truth. Now is the time to become resilient and adaptable. Is your life presenting you with the opportunities that seem to yield nothing? Have your ideas dried up? Does it feel like you are on an endless journey through a dry, hot, lifeless desert? This card reminds you that there are times when you're meant to become resilient as you journey through harsher circumstances. You're being required to conserve your energy until after consistent effort, you reach the oasis you're searching for. Consider the creatures that live in these conditions. They have adapted to thrive in spite of the outer environment. In a desert, water essential for life can be found deep underground. Go deep within yourself now. Find your truth here. Let spirit sustain you while you locate the real source. Whatever it is you're asking about will not be found in the conditions you're in until you move past the surface of things and choose to do the real work and discover the answers deep within you. This may not seem like the most productive time, but looks are deceiving. This is the most important place to find what's truly right for you. Okay, and now you're welcome. This one is for Violets. What does Violets need to know? Violets need to know this week. You're getting two too. I keep getting like where it's like 2 pop, and I'm like, okay, I guess you're getting 2. You're getting 8 and 10. So there is 10 is rock bottom. There you go. And 8 is come together. Sorry, I keep like everything is opposite. Rock bottom says surrender and accept. Surrender and acceptance are the keys to freedom. As difficult as it may be to accept, it seems that you've reached a point where you can go no further in the same manner in which you've been doing things. Perhaps you've hit a proverbial brick wall or experienced a deep sense of loss and don't know where to turn. The old way of doing things must be discarded fully in order to move onward and upward. A new direction and a new strategy are called for. The only way out is through surrender. Accept things as they are and admit that you have no idea what to do next. If you wait in that heartfelt moment of release, then a stairway will appear like magic, and all manner of synchronicities will show you the way to higher ground. The rock bottom card is a sign that a miracle is about to occur, but only if you let go completely. And 8 is come together. It says love needs to be shared. Love needs to be expressed. Drawing the come together card is a sign that you're on the path to discover the nature of this emotion in all its forms of expression: romantic, familial, unconditional, spiritual. In each instance, there is another being involved. Love involves a give and take between you and the significant other, a relative, a friend, an animal, and/or spirit. This card assures you that love has come calling and seeks a partner in its dance. Know that you are cherished like a magnet. You're attracting love into your life. This is the time for harmonious, caring partnerships. And that was for, both of those were for Violets, and this one is for Misty. Does Misty need to know this week? Here, the energy. What does Misty need to know this week? I'm going to give you 2 since everybody else got 2. Okay, I'm doing this as a reverse because it came up that way. So we'll see how that works. 28 reversed, which is movement. 28 reversed, which is movement. And there's like a little red balloon, a windmill. I don't know if that's an ostrich or an emu. I never tell the difference, quite frankly. Unless you're in person and then you see one is bigger than the other. And then there's somebody who has special interest in ostriches and emus. And they probably know that there's some weird subtle thing that's different. Anyway, 28 movement. You are in time of positive forward motion, reversed. Do you feel as if you're walking in circles, seemingly not getting anywhere? Consider the spiral that travels up and around. 2 steps forward, 5 steps backward, even backward. Movement helps you progress and reach your goal. You may need to revisit some of the places where you forgot to look for treasure. Another message is this: lessons need repeating for those who refuse and/or are unable to learn them the first time. Consider this another invitation to mastery. If you think about it, and I think this is like a great example or analogy, is, when kids learn math, they do it in a spiral. So there's a lot of repetition. There's a lot of like going back over it. Same thing with science too, really, and English and all of that. There's a lot of building upon skills. So sometimes it feels like you're doing the same thing over and over, but it's just building upon those skills. The next one is Goblins, number 5. Still doing it. There we go. And that one is, but that one's upright, so we'll see what that says. Fear is an illusion. Choose love today. Forgive yourself and others. Goblins are born when you're wounded and something essential is lost in that experience. From that point on, as you forget your wholeness, they remain with you in the shadows. There, they remind you of what brought them into being. By mimicking your own voice, tricking you into believing that you're unworthy, victimized, or unlovable. They hold you hostage through low self-worth, self-sabotage, and the feeling that you're lacking what you need. If goblins pay you a visit, know that they represent the shadow of your own self or someone else's, and that they're leading you into the potential reactive situation. A goblin's card appearance is an opportunity for growth, however, and a signal that you must love yourself. No human is without flaws. The goblin's message is that you must release resentments and negative self-talk. Within you is the spark of divine. Ask Spirit to help you heal. Miracles can and do happen. Let go of the negativity. Okay, that's it. I hope you'll have a fabulous week. I will see you next weekend. Be good to yourselves and all of that stuff. Okay. Any last minute questions? No? Good. Forever hold your peas until next week. Okay. Hasta luego. You're welcome.